Oi oi, it's your boy Hawker, and we're going to be listing the highest rated pistol round player from every top 20 CSGO team. We all know that there are some players who stand out in pistol rounds, and generally the vibe from the community is that good aimers and AWPers oftentimes are going to be the best pistol players. So I've taken the pistol round stats throughout the entirety of 2020 so far to rank who the best pistol player is on every team. Let's start with one of the biggest beneficiaries of the online era, and technically the #1 ranked team in the world right now, Big. Big's highest rated pistol player is Xantares with a 1.2 rating in pistol rounds. And I think this makes sense. Xantares is always someone who's performed well in online games, and he's always someone who's clearly had great aim. Considering he joined Big back in December of 2018, I still feel like there are aspects of his game that could develop more. I still feel like he could become more of a complete player, but at least he's having impact in the pistol rounds, and his aim is always going to be a really valuable asset on any team. Next, let's look at Fnatic with Golden. And yes, you heard me right, Golden is the best pistol player on Fnatic. He's put up a whopping 1.28 rating in pistol rounds, making him one of the top 10 pistol round players in the world. Brolan isn't too far behind with a 1.21 rating, but I think this definitely fits in with the feeling that Golden has a lot of impact with his kills, even if he isn't the highest fragger. He also does most of his pistol round work on the T side, where he has a 1.43 rating for T side pistol rounds. That's pretty nutty for an in-game leader. For EG, it's their main man Breezy with a 1.19 pistol round rating, although Cirque's not too far behind him with a 1.15 rating of his own. I think we all remember this ridiculous round from Breezy that's on your screen right now, but interestingly, he's another one who actually does way better on T-side pistols. He's got a 1.36 pistol round rating on T-side compared to just a 1.02 CT pistol round rating.
Oh my goodness.
For Vitality, it's ZywOo with a 1.34 pistol round rating. And look, I'm not going to give you guys any bonus points for predicting ZywOo to be the best pistol player on Vitality, but let's give some love to LeTank, who is really not that far behind. With a 1.29 pistol round rating of his own, he's up there with the best of them. But obviously ZywOo takes the #1 spot for Vitality, and honestly, the dude is nuts. He was literally born on the same date that Counter-Strike was created, and it feels like he was born to play the game. I think he may be one of the naturally most gifted Counter-Strike players ever. For Gen.G, it's the tallest man on the team, Automatic, rocking a 1.21 rating, and he's pretty far ahead of their second best player in Som, who only has a 1.08. And Automatic's another one of those players who's playing pretty well for Gen.G, but we know he's capable of more, and I'd love to see him really break out on this team. For MIBR, it's Fur, who's got a 1.10 rating, and that's one of the lowest in this video. MIBR clearly haven't been having a great time in pistol rounds. In fact, their second best pistol player, KNG, has just a 1.01 rating. So they have not been having fun in pistol rounds, but at least Fur's been getting something done for them. Over in Europe, for GODSENT, it's Madden who takes it with a pretty mediocre 1.12 rating. Even if his pistol round numbers aren't excellent though, he's the most inexperienced player on this team and is probably already the best player on this team, so I think Madden's got a lot of room for growth in the future. I'm excited to see what he does throughout his career. FaZe are a really interesting one. Their best pistol player is Rain with a 1.3 rating, but Brokey really isn't far behind with a 1.28 rating. Obviously, FaZe are a team who are stacked with aimers, so you'd expect them to have a bunch of good pistol round players, but it's the disparity between where they find their success which is most interesting to me. Rain is rocking a 1.59 CT pistol round rating, which is by far the best out of anyone in Counter-Strike in 2020, but his T-side stats are pretty average, which is probably partly down to all the entrying he does for the team. The crazy thing about FaZe Clan though is that they have Rain, who's the best rated CT side pistol round player, and then Brokey's the best rated T side pistol round player with a 1.49 rating on T side. So yeah, as expected, FaZe have got some pretty banging pistol round players. For Mad Lions, it's Shush who secures the bag with a 1.2 pistol round rating. I'd have thought Bubsky might take this, but Bubsky's actually in second place for the team with a 1.17 pistol round rating. And Shush is definitely one of the players that's come on strongest throughout 2020 and has seen the biggest improvement stats-wise to his game. Shush was always someone who I thought was underrated back in 2019 on those trick squads where he took a lot more of the supportive and more assistive roles. But now he's transitioned into more star roles on this Mad Lions squad, and he's proved that he's worth his weight in gold. Speaking of players who have stepped up their stats in 2020, how about Complexity's Config? Config's 1.29 is good for 6th on this list overall, with most of that coming from his CT side. But the cool thing about Config is that he has the biggest difference between him and the second best pistol round player on his team out of anyone in this list. Obo, as the second highest rated on the team, only has a 1.06 rating in the pistols, so Config is clearly the main man for Complexity to watch in the pistol rounds. And again, this is another one that doesn't really surprise me, because Config's raw aim and raw skill has always been up there with the best of them. In NIP's pistols, Rez reigns supreme with a 1.14 rating, and again, that's pretty low compared to most of the rest of the players on this list. Rez is a weird one, because it's always felt like he's had skill and he's had rounds where he's looked really good and his aim has been incredible at times, but he's never really hit a level of consistency that I've been too impressed with. I am kind of surprised that NIP don't have better pistol round players across the board though, because normally the Swedish teams are known for keeping things pretty simple and relying on their aim, which you'd think would translate really well into the pistols, but apparently not. Here's one that surprised me. For Astralis, it's not Dupree, not Magisk, not Device, but Zipex who boast the best pistol round rating. Astralis do have 3 very good players in pistol rounds though. Zipex has a 1.24, then Device has a 1.23, and Magisk has a 1.22, so they're basically all at the same level. Still though, Zipex isn't someone who strikes out as a really sick aimer from this Astralis squad, so seeing him as the highest rated pistol player on the team is nice to see. Shout out to you Zipex, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, technically Zipex is on break right now because of the burnout stuff, so I guess I should say keep doing what you're doing after you've had a break, but I've just overcomplicated things. Let's move on. If you're a Liquid fan, Elige is your man, at least to watch in the pistols, where he's got a 1.32 rating. Twist isn't too far behind with a 1.25, and Twist is probably the snappier of the two aimers, but the consistency that Elige can put up is incredible, gives a real backbone to this Liquid roster. And his 1.32 rating in pistol rounds is definitely part of that. That puts him as the 3rd best pistol round player in the world, behind ZywOo, who we saw earlier, and one other player who I won't spoil for you. Actually, I will spoil it for you because it's obviously going to be simple. Seriously though, Elige is someone who's always grinding and always pushing himself to become the best. And I mean, just look at that smile. That damn smile. How can you hate the dude? G2 have 2 players tied for first, with both Hunter and Jax boasting a 1.10 rating. Considering the skill and the style of this G2 roster, I'd have thought they'd have had better success than this in the pistol rounds, but they don't really have any standout players, surprisingly. Out of all the truly top teams, they're the ones that stand out as not having a really good player in these pistol rounds, at least according to the stats. So hopefully this is something they can improve on in the future, because I feel like the pieces are there to do much better in the pistol rounds than these stats are showing. For FURIA, it's Yuri who tops the team and tops the Brazilian scene with a 1.23 rating in pistol rounds. And I've always liked how Yuri plays. I feel like he's a pretty active and at times aggressive rifler, but he doesn't overdo it, which is always going to be important when you're playing on a team with art. He's also another one who has a big difference between their CT and T ratings, and he's the complete opposite of Rain earlier, who was very good on the CT side. Yuri is actually very good on the T side pistols with a 1.48 rating. For Na'Vi, it's no surprise that Simple takes the top spot, and with a 1.37 rating in pistol rounds, Simple is statistically the best pistol round player in the world. Interestingly, ZywOo actually slightly edges him out on the CT side of things, but it's the T side where Simple really shines. I'd also be remiss to mention Electronic, whose 1.29 rating would be the best on a bunch of other teams and actually ranks him as the 7th best pistol round player in the world. And the fact that Electronic doesn't get talked about more on Na'Vi just goes to show how good Simple is. When Simple's at his peak, you really know that you're just witnessing greatness. He's one of the few players who can completely take over games by himself. And yeah, I don't think I need to tell you too much more about Simple. You probably already know he's pretty bloody good. For 100 Thieves, JKS is a straight savage with a 1.24 rating. And by the way, look at those T-side numbers. That's really impressive. I think JKS's career will be a really interesting one, because he's clearly got the skill to be on a top team in the world, but 100 Thieves with their Oceanic core have normally been around that 10th place in the world mark, and if JKS wants to move on at some point, I'd love to see him try his luck on an NA team where he could compete for trophies on a much more consistent basis. For Team Spirit, it's Mir. Spirit have squeaked their way into the top 20 recently, and Mir's been a big part of that. I think he's still kind of underrated as a really good entry fragger, and I hope that Team Spirit can keep on doing what they're doing, because I think they've got a really well-rounded, really skilled squad across the board. I think Team Spirit and Mir are definitely ones to watch out for in the future. They've stuck together for a long time, they're doing it the right way, and the grind is finally seeming to pay off for them. For Mousesports, it's Frozen with a 1.20. And I think it's fair to say even the biggest Mousesports fan in the world would admit to you that they've been having a pretty tough time so far in 2020 in the online era. Frozen, as the youngest player on the team though, was always going to be one who probably adapted pretty well. And he was obviously brought into the team as a young star with good aim, so it's not a surprise to me that he's the best player in pistol rounds on their team. And finally, for OG, my fellow Britbongers can rejoice because Mantu is their best with a 1.31. And that 1.31 rating puts him at a really impressive 4th place on this list overall. Considering the circumstances and where he came from, Mantu has been really impressive on this OG squad. And that carries over into pistol rounds, where the next best on the team, MBK, only has a 1.14 rating, pretty far behind Mantu up there with this 1.31. So really impressive stuff from Mantu. I'm excited to see where his career goes, and that is us done for this video. This was a bit of a change of speed, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. It honestly took me way too long to make this video, but I'm glad I did it. Hope it gave you guys some insight, hope you had fun, and I will catch you next time.